This is the main event, Mark's podcast, brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Network. I'm your first host, former radio guy, lifelong wrestling fan, and cat dad, Troy. And with me, as always, is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He is the Bobby Roode to my Austin Aries. He's Greg. What's up, Greg?
Why do I gotta be Canadian?
I figured you'd like that because you're a Bobby Roode fan and because, size difference.
I just want to say that.
You like Canada.
I told you, that's become the new thing. Like, you can't make jokes about, Black, Mexican, Asians, but, Canadians, that's fine. You can make all the racist jokes you want, apparently. I don't understand that logic, but that's how it seems to be.
Maybe it's because of the fact that there's a lot of French people up there, and the running gag is that they're, super apologetic and whatever. I don't know.
Well, when I went to Canada, I can tell you, they were super nice. Like, every stereotype is there, so.
Should they say a boot?
I got a couple.
Nice. But alright, man, today we're going back to 2013. I don't know why I randomly picked this Slammiversary, but I did. Maybe I just wanted to talk about the Aces and Eights era. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we're here. We're talking about Slammiversary, man. We had to get a couple in this month.
There's one coming up very soon, too, by the way, at the time of this recording.
Yeah, and did you say the main event for that one is Kenny Omega and Sammy Callahan?
Finger Bang and the guy who messes with the lights and computers, yes. That's the main event, folks.
Good lord. Slammiversary 11. So this is the 11th anniversary of this company in 2013, so they've been around since... Well, they've been around since 2001?
2002. But,
2002? Okay.
I think this was the 11th anniversary. It was not Slammiversary 11, though. That's funny.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they started in 05, so.
Yeah, right, yeah, because they're so weird with their numbering, yeah, because they labeled this Slammiversary 11. And I'm like, well, there has not been 11 Slammiversaries. Like, I could understand if you said it started in 02, right? So
TNA started in 02, but the Slammiversary started in 05.
Yeah, right. Well, right. So, I don't know. I'm all kind of confused with this one. Because if it started in 02, that's kind of like when WWE did, for WrestleMania 25, they called it the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. It's like, no, it is the 24th anniversary of WrestleMania. Your wedding day is not your first anniversary. You know what I mean?
No, your wedding day is your death.
Oh, good lord. This should be Slammiversary, the 10th anniversary then. So I don't know. I'm confused. TNA was always confusing. They're still confusing.
Oh, thank God I hashed that out and they're fine now.
Yeah, they got things going the right way, so. But anyway, yeah, so we're gonna get into all that today. We're going back to 2013. This is one of the more recent shows we've covered, but it is, 8 years ago, so close enough. But we're going to take our first break. When we come back, it's news and notes. Real quick, just letting you know, we are sponsored by Fubo TV and Fanatics. And if you are listening on the podcast feed, please like and subscribe. Give a 5-star review and all that good stuff. Well, you're not going to jump in with your 7 stars?
No, not this week.
Okay.
I want to be predictable.
Yeah, let it breathe. Go away for a bit, learn a new hold, I guess. But anyway. Also, if you are not listening to us live, you can hear us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on unhingedsn.airtime.pro, and an hour and a half after the start time, we have our first replay. So if you miss any of the show, you can catch it then. But we're going to take our first break. When we come back, it's news and notes time, baby. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Get all the best podcast swag from the Main Event Marks. Our merch shop offers custom graphics, including the podcast logo, on hats, shirts, masks, greeting cards, and more. There are tons of new designs with more dropping all the time. Just head on over to redbubble.com/people/Main Event Marks to grab your podcast merch today and become an official Main Event Mark. That's redbubble.com/people/Main Event Marks.
event marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we're back. Notes. The news and notes from early June of 2013. There's not a lot of, groundbreaking stories here, but some of this is pretty interesting. Just, stuff to put you back in.
We gotta talk about death, drugs, or sex. Come on, what's going on?
Well, there's one story we can talk a little bit about some of that.
Seems to be the theme of our show for anyone who listens regularly. You guys know.
Well, it's not even just necessarily our show, but that just seems like a running thing in wrestling, period. It's like, oh, you're doing a wrestling documentary, so there's drugs, sex, and violence involved, right? I mean, they have a whole series on Vice about that. Anyway, getting to this. 660news.com has a short interview with Bret the Hitman Hart, who discussed his late brother Owen not being in the WWE Hall of Fame. The article noted that Bret was, quote, frustrated that his brother wasn't inducted. He said, quote, it's time to remember what he was. He was a great wrestler, and WWE fans around the world remember Owen every day. And they ask me every day. It's kind of childish, end quote. There was talk last year of Owen being inducted into this year's class. However, PW Insider reported that Owen's widow, Martha Hart, turned the offer down. So, speaking of Dark Side of the Ring.
Never gonna happen.
No. If anybody's watched Owen's Dark Side of the Ring episode, even after Martha passes away, unless something terrible happens in the life of their children and they really need money and WWE throws the farm at them, he's never going in that Hall of Fame. Because she's on board, the kids are on board, and Bret has come out and publicly insulted her in the past for not going in. It's like, I seem to remember a string of over a decade where you said nothing positive about that company at all, and how much you hated them, and you buried them every chance you get. Now it's like, how dare you not let my brother go into this Hall of Fame?
Oh, man.
How dare you not be money hungry and just jump at everybody that throws you a little bit of cash? Oh, man. Something tells me that, they really don't care about all that. And again, everybody had me included, had one image of on one side of the argument in their head the whole time. And then I watched that episode and I get why Martha is the way she is about it. So, it's nothing saying he has to go in.
Why you are the way you are.
Yeah. Why are you the way you are? I very much hate who you are and everything about you. Anyway, speaking of the Hitman, Bret Hart issued an apology to Pat Patterson for a joke that he cracked during the Bret Hart Appreciation Night on Raw recently. During the ceremony, Patterson got down on one knee and shook Bret's hand, to which Bret replied, quote, "When Pat starts getting on his knees, I start getting scared."
Good God.
I don't remember this. Do you?
No.
Oh, man. What made him think that was okay?
I don't know, but it's all the something you say in high school.
The only thing I can think of, related to that is, have you seen the movie RV with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
I like the part where he said, when a white man picks up a banjo, my cheeks tighten.
Oh my God.
It's the only thing I can think of from this remark. It's like, dude, no. Here's one, this guy is still hanging in there. The Big Show has been working with a torn labrum and will take time off from WWE.
He's still going on, kind of.
Yeah. Did you see a recent picture of him, by the way, where he's actually got new wrestling gear?
No.
Yeah, and it was a picture for, because AEW's been putting out pictures for, hey, we're coming to such and such city, and they'll take promotional shots. He's in one of them in wrestling gear, and I'm like, dear God, don't, are you throwing him in the ring? Because if so, why?
Because?
Oh, man. The only, logical reason off the top of my head I can think of is, if they throw him in there with, a rookie, because sometimes they do that, they throw the veterans in there with a rookie to help, coach him along. That's the only reason I
want
can
to
think
see
of.
him take on Bums R Us in a handicap match. But
Good Lord. You just wanted to get that in there.
dude, it just gave me so much ammo for AEW, dude. It's like, here you go. I know you talk crap about it, so here's a good bullet for you. Good Lord.
I wonder.
We have a team called Bums R Us in AEW. You can't make this up. Oh,
I'm wondering if their tag team finisher is called the Street Shitter. Oh, man. The Tent City Slam.
Good God.
All right.
Self.
Yeah, I know. I got them all in there. All right. Anyway. I had to look this up, by the way, because I know nothing about anatomy. The labrum is in the shoulder, like where your arm connects to the shoulder. So I had no idea. Had to look it up. But either way, yeah, Big Show's been in and out of WWE so many times. It's like the joke about him going face and heel. You know, the fact that he made reference to that, by the way, in his AEW debut, just is like, come on.
Oh, man.
Another guy, speaking of old timers that jumped to AEW, there's also huge heat on Mark Henry right now from WWE's creative side. They had a storyline planned for him, but after his match with Sheamus at Extreme Rules, or at some point in the last week, Henry said that he was banged up and needed time off due to injuries. What the hell was he doing in 2013? Like, was this during, like, one of his runs on top, or no?
2013, like, off the top of my head, I don't know. I know that's when, isn't that when Sheamus turned face? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. If anybody can remind us.
That was 12. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know
remind us what the hell he was doing in 2013.
I know 2013 WrestleMania, he wrestled Ryback, so there's that. To give me an idea of what he was doing at the Big Show of the year, so.
Okay, apparently he made his return after a 9-month absence back in February of this year on Raw, and he attacked Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, and Sin Cara. Oh, wow.
I see a pattern there.
And then on SmackDown, he defeated Randy Orton to earn a spot in the Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight title. So, yeah, this was during one of them times. And, this was the same year, WrestleMania 29, he beat Ryback by landing on his head. So.
I was there, don't remind me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, his feud with Sheamus there, so. And with his loss to Sheamus, Henry declared that he was going home. There you go. Apparently this was one of his retirements. He'd be back.
One of his retirements. That sounds so horrible.
Well, he's a wrestler, so it happens. Another guy, he's not in AEW, but he's sure as hell not in WWE anymore. The former Derek Bateman, real name Michael Hutter, was released from WWE on May 17th. He would soon debut for a local Cleveland wrestling promotions on June 30th.
Who's Derek Bateman?
If anybody doesn't remember or doesn't know.
Hold on. The original NXT, I think?
Yeah. Yeah, he was Daniel Bryan's rookie. You remember that system?
I do.
Yeah. But for anybody that doesn't know, Derek Bateman is EC3. But he had a big curly fro back then, and he was clean shaven.
I legit blanked on his name. I didn't know that was seriously.
Oh, okay. Yeah. EC3's first run. This was.
I think that was even more disastrous than his last run, but.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, he was, like, his whole gimmick was that he was goofy and he joked around, and him and Daniel Bryan had a bunch of comedy skits backstage. Yeah, and, whatever. But I
bet Aunt Dixie was proud of that.
Oh, yeah. When he popped up in TNA, I was like, that's freaking Derek Bateman with a haircut, and he's supposed to be Dixie Carter's nephew? Like, what the random?
I must say, though, that might have been his best work ever.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like...
Again, I don't know what that's saying, but...
And I can't judge what he's doing now. Supposedly he's doing good stuff. I think he's a Ring of Honor, and
He recently did a cinematic match with Matt Cardona. We'll put it on Fight TV. He's getting back known because of the Major Pod. We talk about him every week.
Nice. I mean, he is a pretty decent wrestler. I was excited when he went to to NXT.
I'm just laughing. I forgot his damn real name.
Yeah. Well, like, I laughed. You remember when I was saying before, like, you know, when we found out he was going to NXT, but, you know, he hadn't popped up yet, I was like, well, they're not going to call him EC3, you know, I thought, because it stands for Ethan Carter the Third. And I was like, well, they're not going to call him that. No, they just called him EC3. Never said what his real name was. And if you didn't know, you just didn't know.
Oh, you just know.
Yeah. And
just
I was like, what are they gonna call him when he comes in? It's like, Bateman Derek, or no, he's gonna be like Bate Derrickman or something like that. It's like they got, or no, I said
and switch.
I said he's gonna come back. He's gonna be Derek Bateman II. DB2.
Yeah, the old famous Bateman family, yes. Historical
course,
lineage in pro wrestling, by the way.
Yeah, right. All right. WWE, you're not going to know this name either until I tell you who it is, but WWE recently signed independent wrestler Corey Weston, who would go on to be Wesley Blake. He was scouted by Gerald Briscoe.
And he hung on forever.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, wait a minute.
He was the last guy in NXT. He was the last guy in NXT, by the way, at some point. That was on the very first takeover that we were at.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, man.
I felt kind of bad laughing at that. I was like, man, dude, it's a lifer.
Did he go first and then Murphy? Pretty sure,
No,
right?
He never went.
Wait, is he still
went
there?
for a minute. No, he got released. Just recently, actually. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to the main roster, but then we only see him for a minute after, what's his name? Infamous tweet, and then no one was on TV anymore, and, yeah.
Yeah, well, I know he'd been released since then. I didn't know. I couldn't remember the order. He got released first and then Murphy, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, but he was scouted by Gerald Briscoe, of all people. Like, okay. Weston comes from Dory Funk Jr.'s wrestling camp in Florida, so that makes sense. Ring of Honor star Mike Bennett is still expected to be one of WWE's new signings. Nope. Bennett actually didn't show up in WWE until 2017. And,
he wasn't even Bennett.
Yeah. I think I was there.
Mike Kanellis.
Were you and I there when he debuted? I forget. I want to say I was. I
feel like I remember that.
Okay, I don't think I was there when he debuted. That's right. I was there during one of those times. Remember when him and Maria just would like randomly come out on the stage, kiss, and then leave?
Yeah, it was epic, man. That was money.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, I was there for one of those, and I'm like, God dang it.
He said bragging.
I just remember I was like, because I think there was a show I went with like a group of people, and some of the people never seen him before, and then that happened, and I had people literally looking at me in my group going, what the F was that? I was like, nothing, just pretend like you never saw it.
It's freaking Mike Kanellis, dude.
Yeah.
Took his wife's name.
Yeah.
Did you notice, by the way, when he debuted, JBL quickly pointed that out. Oh, he took his wife's name? Oh, that's different.
Yeah, right.
Like, no one would have even batted an eye. Oh, okay, they just changed his name. But no, JBL ought to make sure we knew it was his wife's name. What a dick.
Yeah. He was, like, that killed him, as in the words of Jim Cornette, that killed him deader than Kelsey's nuts. But then, if he wasn't already dead enough, he took time out. And look, I'm glad he went to rehab and got straightened out. I'm not, crapping on him for that. But he was only there for like a short amount of time, doing nothing. Then he goes to rehab, comes back and does less than nothing. And just, yeah.
I forget who it was, but somebody accused him of going there just to get the rehab stint paid. I don't think it was true.
Quite a few people accused him of that, yeah.
It's just, I don't know if it's true or not, but, it's kind of messed up.
For people that don't know, WWE has a policy where if you work there at any time ever, no matter how short or long you've been there, they will pay if you need rehab. So, imagine, and I'm not saying this to be funny either, but imagine how much money they sunk into Scott Hall.
Good Lord, they probably still are.
Yeah, I think
trying to be funny.
Yeah, they pointed that out one time too. They're like, they sunk like hundreds of thousands of dollars into him for his rehab. It's not cheap. But anyway, Stephanie McMahon said on the latest episode of NXT that the new NXT Women's Championship will continue the tradition of creating the next wave of women for a generation with the creation of the title. This was the original NXT Women's title. Here's one for you. Fast and Furious 6, featuring The Rock, stayed on top at the U.S. box office for a second week in a row. It took in another $34.5 million this weekend, bringing its domestic cum to $170.4 million, which is the biggest 10-day total for the franchise. It stands at a whopping $480 million worldwide.
Okay, first of all, at the time of this recording, I got tickets to go this Saturday night, which I'm stoked for number 9. And number 2, it's stuff like this, and people go, they need to stop making those movies, or I just laugh at how asinine they sound. Like, yeah, Universal should stop making these movies that make $1 billion a piece. You're right, just quit.
Yeah, well,
no damn sense to even utter those words. Why would a company stop making a movie that they know they're going to make $1 billion from? That makes no damn sense. Just shut up. You sound like an idiot. I swear.
I've told you before, I'm not a fan of the movies. I don't care about them. It's not my thing. But yeah, it's like the same people that go on about, oh, Marvel movies aren't art. They're just blah, 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 same crap. And it's like, well, this not art is drawing much more than your, little independent film or whatever.
I think that was Woody Allen.
Now, Scorsese said the same crap. He's like, well, that's not real film. That's like, it's a roller coaster ride in film form. Like, okay, and how many people pay for roller coasters every year? Like,
I mean, hey, look, it's nice to have Academy Awards, but I'd rather have a bank full of money, personally.
Yeah,
that is
right.
Me.
Yeah. So there you go. So, I mean, Scott Hall had said something, he kind of did it in reverse, but he was talking about when he first went to WCW, his first show, he's like, man, you got like maybe half a crowd here, but he's like, you know what? I already wrestled in front of, arenas full of people. I just want money. So.
Been there, done that.
Yep. Wrestling legend Bobby Eaton's condition has improved. He's still in the hospital and is set to have a pacemaker put in 2 weeks.
I feel like we can't go a single year, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but we can't go a single year without hearing about his health problems. Why can't someone help him get right?
I know. It sucks. Obviously, I mean, he kicked out, so that's good. He's had a lot of, like you said, he's had a lot of health scares, and there's been a lot of, campaigns to raise money for him and everything, so, I don't know. Poor Bobby Eaton, man. He's had a rough go of it the last decade, I think. But either way, speaking of somebody who's had a rough go of it for a couple decades.
That's not good.
Tammy Sunny Sitch.
Who is, by the way, just fresh out of jail as of this recording, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't know why somebody posted that in the Major Mark group. Like, she's out. I'm like, and?
Yeah, well, it's like that.
We found her fan, folks.
It's like the, on the opening of The Simpsons where they're hanging up the sign, like, how many days without an incident, whatever.
Right.
It's like, how many days without Sunny being thrown in jail.
That is sad.
Gosh, it really is. I'm not trying to mock her, but it's like, the last time...
I don't know, dude. When you bring this shit on yourself, you're gonna earn it, dude. Sorry. I'm not... It's...
Like
once,
Teddy Hart.
twice, whatever. You go 5 times a year, you got a problem.
Well, like Teddy Hart having a whole Twitter page dedicated to whether or not he's in jail.
Right. Dude, I seriously thought that was fake.
I laughed my ass off. My favorite part, I mean, like I said, it's sad that people do this to themselves, but like you said, you gotta earn it. Every day he's not in jail, they tweet no, and every day that he is in jail, the last time he got arrested, they said, breaking news, yes. And they tweeted the article about his arrest. So, Tammy Sitch, Sunny, whatever the hell you want to call her, is another one that, she just brings a lot of stuff on herself. Doing weird porn, getting arrested constantly, cheating on, Chris Candido when she was with him, and,
rumors are he cheated on her too, so it's not like
really?
He's a saint.
Yeah, well. And then, the other thing is, last time she was free and not in jail, she was tweeting some pretty offensive stuff. So
I feel like I remember, but I can't remember. I mean, I remember the offensive, like her saying something. I don't remember what it was.
I think it just started with her coming out and saying she was like conservative or a Trump supporter or something like that, and then like somebody said something like went after her, and it quickly turned very like offensive and racist and just everything else under the sun. So
Wasn't it something about black people?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
I think that might have been a separate one where she said something about she doesn't like dark meat or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Like, why do you have to advertise it too?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're afraid of like whatever the hell you want, but to sit there and say that crap where everyone can see and in that way.
I know. That'd be like me. It's like, hey, I don't date men. All right, I don't do it. Okay, like, cool.
Just want everyone to know. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, check me out. I'm heterosexual, just so you know. But, alright, anyway. Sunny, who was recently released from a Connecticut prison after serving a 4-month sentence for repeatedly violating terms of a restraining order filed by her former boyfriend. A lovely way to start the story, by the way.
Wait, there's more?
Yes. She touted her trailblazing ways in a Facebook post this week. Oh, she blazed some trails, all right. She said,
something. If only she just blazed, she probably wouldn't be in so much trouble.
Right. She tweeted, or rather posted on Facebook, I guess, quote, I find it fascinating that so many women now strive to be a WWE diva. I'm so happy I helped make that occupation a glamorous one, because in the prehistoric days of not-so-glamorous lady wrestlers, end quote. She also added, quote, my definition of a diva is that all-around, well-rounded performer, end quote. She didn't wrestle. So how is she well-rounded?
I can't even remember her ever in a match. Off the top of my head.
No, she never wrestled. She didn't have they had her announce a few times, and she was horrible at it because her voice was like just screechy. I don't even know how to describe it. And yeah, she was a fine manager, I guess, but she did the same gimmick over and over. I'm with this team. Now I find the guy on the other team attractive, so I'm with him now. Okay? I don't know. Sunny just Barry Horowitzing herself.
At least he was great. He can pat himself on the back.
Yeah, well, that mullet sure as hell was epic, but alright. Bobby Lashley will return to MMA for the first fight in over a year at June 8th's Titan FC 25 event. The former WWE and TNA star will take on Kevin Asplund, who is 15-5. Lashley ends up dominating Asplund before submitting him in the second round with a key lock. With the victory, Lashley's MMA record will improve to 8-2.
Yeah. Things.
Wow. Yeah, he didn't do anything in MMA. Like, I honestly thought he was going to do something with it. Was he in Bellator at one point?
I think they still own his contract.
Really?
So, if he was to come back in MMA, I believe he would have to go to Bellator.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's how it is.
Well, he better drop that WWE title and head right over.
Right. Scott Coker's waiting on a freak show fight for him, man. Oh man.
Damn straight. Hey, maybe they'll throw him in the cage. What do they have? A hexagon or whatever the hell?
I think it's just round, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, throw him in the asylum cage with Miro not Miro. What the? Damn, can't think of his name.
Hager?
No, he's he was one of the old legends of the heavyweight legends.
Sap?
Emelianenko.
Oh, Fedor?
Emelianenko. Yeah, Fedor. That's who I was thinking of. Throw him in there with him.
That would be a fight that Coker would book, because he's an idiot.
Didn't he book Fedor versus Rampage?
I don't know if that happened or not, but I know he put Fedor and Chael Sonnen.
Okay.
Chael Sonnen, a glorified middleweight, by the way, but whatever sells tickets stuff.
Right. Good grief. Here we go into TNA now. TNA Impact recently moved back to Thursday nights, starting on May 13th. Well, according to Mike today, that was due to popular demand by fans, and not because they were getting stomped every Monday.
Maybe it was maybe it was a little bit of both. Maybe please, we don't want to see you die right now. Go back to Thursday. I mean, there could have been a kernel, like Bischoff voice says, kernel of truth in there.
Was it you I was watching their debut on Mondays with?
Probably.
Okay, I think I was I either watched it with you or I was messaging with you about it, and I just remember afterwards.
It was definitely the latter for sure.
Okay, because I remember I was just like, I mean, it's a fine show, but I wasn't, like, I was expecting to be, like, blown away with their debut against Raw, and it was just a show. I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, over on Raw, they had the return
But it was
of Bret
on
Hart.
Monday. It was on Raw.
Yeah.
Well, no, hold on, no, to be fair, Flair debuted, Jeff Hardy debuted, Hogan and Bischoff debuted, Hall and Nash debuted, so a lot of stuff did happen on that show. Let's not forget that, but I still agree, it didn't feel much.
Yeah, the matches just were kind of like, nah, I don't know.
Dude, X Division Escape?
Yeah, right. It was like, let's bring out all these old dudes that you might have remembered from the 90s. Also, Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Jeff was the one that I was he's back.
Who very well could have been in jail at this point, but the judge decided not to rule right away.
Yeah,
he literally got on a plane from Carolina, wherever the hell he was, to go to Impact.
Wow. Did not know that one. But on the final battle between Raw and Impact, Raw drew a 3.05 and Impact drew a 0.8. I mean, that's close, right?
Yeah.
Yikes. But with Impact returning to the 9 p.m. time slot on Thursdays on Spike TV, it's being touted as the, quote, the biggest summer ever in history of the 9-year program. Yeah, right. According to TNA Wrestling President Dixie Carter, a, quote, big free agent signing will hit the program during this time frame. She really killed her credibility a lot during this time.
You know who that was?
Well, here are the people that it was not. Add Batista, Goldberg, and MVP to the list of wrestlers denying that they are the big free agent signing that TNA has been touting. When a fan wrote on Twitter that they would start watching Impact if MVP was the newly signed talent, MVP replied, quote, flattered, but it's not me. MVP
for a couple of years.
Right. He did pop up in TNA on January 30th of 2014. So, not long after this. Or, well, the taping. I don't know if it was that episode, but either way. When a fan noted that they would have stopped watching Impact if Goldberg had signed, Goldberg replied, yep, you and the other 4 people.
Wow.
What a dick. Rampage Jackson debuted on June 6th.
Maybe that was it?
Yeah, pretty sure that was it. Yeah, because we thought he was going to wrestle for a while, remember? At least I did. They made it seem like he was going to wrestle. What did he have, maybe one match?
June 20th.
Yeah, so, okay. And this show was on the 2nd, so he would have popped up at the very next Impact. So that makes sense. So she had to have been talking about Rampage.
June 6th was June 6, 2013, Rampage debuts.
Yep. Yeah, so it would have been the very next Impact after the show. So that's all I can think of. EC3 actually debuted in October, late October of this same year. So he's not far off, but yeah, Rampage had to have been the one she was touting. But that does it for the news and notes, man. You ready to dive into Slammiversary XI?
Kind of.
All right, well, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, Slammiversary time.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
Oh, we shared the room.
Shared a room?
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast?
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The Broadcast. Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAS. They nearly stuffed up the ending.
Hey, it's alright, good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Yeah, but we don't spell it with a C. You spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The main event marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, we're back. Time to dive into Total Nonstop Action Slammiversary 2013, aka Slammiversary XI. The date was June 2nd, 2013. Tagline, TNA's biggest event of the summer. As opposed to the biggest party of the summer. So.
I just love how they say biggest event of the summer as if they have other big events in the summer.
Yeah. It's like, are you comparing it to, I'm going to assume, like, WWE, like, you know, like, other, I'm going to say, like, other wrestling events in the summer.
2013, this is when Brock beats the hell out of Cena and takes the title, I believe. So, this was bigger than that one? I think so, yeah. So, This was, that one? Was it that one? It might have been Brock and CM Punk, actually. I don't know. Well, either way, whichever one it is, I'm still right. This was comparable to that? No.
Well, to further your argument, this took place at the, I'm going to butcher this name, Agganis Arena in Boston, Massachusetts, and the attendance was only 3,800 people, which was just slightly over half capacity. Yeah, keep in mind, ladies and gents, this is their second biggest show of the year.
Yeah, all the ladies that listen to us.
Yeah, all one of you. And if there is a lady out there, well, thanks. Tell your friends. But anyway, yeah, so this was their second biggest show of the year. This was like, to put this in perspective of like, again, comparing it to WWE. This is like if SummerSlam had, 60% capacity. It wouldn't happen. Like, I think SummerSlam 95 might have been a sellout or close to it. And that show sucked. Except for like one or two matches. But mostly it sucked.
The whole thing sucks.
The ladder match was really good. I can't think of another one off the top of my head that was good on that show. I really can't.
Barry Horowitz and Skip? Oh, you son of a bitch. How did you forget that?
Wasn't that a dark match? Or
nope,
no, that
was on the show.
That's right, and they acted like it mattered. I remember that one. They're like,
Barry Horowitz had gotten a win over him on Superstars.
Yeah, there's a feud around this. Yeah. Cool. This is also the show where Kevin Nash / Diesel, whatever the hell, was injured by Mabel's ass. Yeah. There's that. Mabel literally sat down on his back with full force and hurt the WWF champion.
Vengeance.
Yeah, right. I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious ass cheeks. Well, the pay-per-view buy rate for this one was 13,500, which
I think I bought this one.
Yeah, I think I streamed this one. Wait, is this statute of limitations? I don't know.
I don't know, but I, Greg, bought it, so I want to make that clear.
Hey, I didn't say how I streamed it. I might have paid for the stream. You don't know.
They didn't have paid streams back then.
You know what? Back off. Anyway, getting into the show at hand.
Yeah, you steal a TNA show, man. They work hard for that.
Right. Yeah, look, I could have joined one of the, 13,000 people that paid for this thing. Just like every Slammiversary, we get clips to open this of the biggest TNA moments. For just a few moments, by the way. But this time, Aces and Eights cuts in like the NWO. Bully Ray, do you know who he is? He talks about how he turned on Hulk Hogan, and Aces and Eights helped him win the TNA World Title in a cage, and also tricked Brooke Hogan into marrying him.
Because in real life you couldn't just get that annulled real quick.
Yeah, right. Like, there's so many things like, oh, you tricked me into marrying you. Well, darn, I guess I gotta stick with it.
Like, expect me to cook for you tonight.
What the hell? Oh man, I'm trying to figure out here, like, who the hell was WWE champion at this very moment?
This is June 2013.
Yeah,
it's John Cena.
Okay, yeah, because okay, here we go. Yeah, it was The Rock.
So 2013.
Yeah, he won it January 27th. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're hell off, dude. Just
okay.
play.
He lost it to John Cena in April. Okay, so yeah.
I was there.
Yep, and then he lost it to Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. There you go. That's the SummerSlam.
And Daniel Bryan lost it to Randy Orton really quickly, I believe.
Yeah, in like 2 minutes. Actually, I don't even know if it was 2 minutes. Regardless.
Oh, that reminds me of last night. Never mind. Go on.
Good lord. Prom night flashbacks. So
you're
on one
generous,
on one channel we've got John Cena as the world champion. On the other channel we've got Bubba Ray Dudley. Man,
I gotta pull out what Jim Cornette says today about wrestling.
yeah, it's just
Bobby Lashley, Karrion Kross, and Roman Reigns. They look like they could beat up an MF, man. Those guys are badasses. And over here you got Finger Bang.
I'll say this. At least he looks good.
He did say that. That was like his only compliment he's ever gave an Omega. He looks like a wrestler. I'll give him that.
Well, you'd have to be a complete blind idiot to not say that, or lying to not admit that. So.
Oh yeah, Cornette would never lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Anyway, tonight the 3-man commentary team is Todd Kennelly, Mike Tenay, and Taz. I totally forgot Todd Kennelly was a thing.
That was my first note. I'm like, I forgot all about this horrible failed experiment.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume this was an Eric Bischoff call. Because he said from day one he hated Mike Tenay as the play-by-play guy.
He's quick to make sure to say he only hates Tenay as a play-by-play and he loves Tenay as an announcer and as a person. He's very quick to always say that because people always assume that he's talking crap about Portsmouth.
Oh yeah, and he comes out and he says, dude, I hired Mike Tenay. He said, I think Mike Tenay is like the greatest third man, ever in a commentary booth. But as a play-by-play guy, he sucks. And he said it's not his
forte has always been color, though. That's
right. Yeah, I mean, he was the guy in WCW that told you the name of the Mexican moves.
Yeah, before what's his name over in AEW was the Mark, or like the guy who knew all the guys.
Well, and he Excalibur, yeah.
Yeah, he always knows everybody from Japan, and I feel like that was the original Tenay.
Yeah. Well, and he shouts the names of the moves too.
Yeah.
You got to get that in. Whereas Mike Tenay would just like inform you. Over in, we call that a Frankensteiner, but in Mexico, they refer to it as a Hurricane Rana. Whereas, you go to AEW and he's like, Tope Suicida! Like, just say Suicide Dive. Like, whatever, dude. Anyway, this first match is a Ultimate X for the TNA X Division title. It's a 3-way between the champion Kenny King. I forgot he was the champion at this time, by the way. Chris Sabin and Suicide. It went about 15 and a half minutes. Chris Sabin hasn't been back for very long after tearing his left ACL a year ago. This was after tearing his right ACL the year before, putting him out for a year before that. I remember we were watching the show. I can't remember which one it was exactly, but we watched it, and I remember he did a flip out of the ring, and it was knee. We're talking about the second time. I don't remember. If I saw the first time, I don't know I saw it. So we definitely saw the second time because we were watching it. Well, I remember you and I were talking about it because he was out for a whole year when he tore it. I can't remember, how he did it or when he did it, whatever. But I remember he did it, and you and I were like, damn. And then he finally made this big return. They played it up, and you and I were like, hell yeah, he's back. And then, what was he back for? Maybe 2 weeks, if that. Yeah. And, dove right out of the ring and starts clutching his other knee, and you and I were like, you've got to be kidding me. Man, you want to talk about God having it in for somebody. Oh, man. I know. And it's like, and somebody sure enough, I'm pretty sure, by the way, that this Suicide was being played by T.J. Perkins, judging by some of the moves he pulled off. Because he did that cannonball, or wrecking ball drop kick outside of the ring, and he did the hanging himself up in the ropes when he gets thrown into them. So I was like, alright, yeah, that's pretty clear. He hangs himself now with everything he says and does. Good lord. Yeah, he's pretty divisive online. That's putting it lightly. Anyway, in the end, Suicide and Kenny King meet in the middle of the wires. Suicide gets knocked off. Then Chris Sabin shimmies over, knocks off Kenny King, and then grabs a belt for the win. Uncle Dave gave it 3 1/4 stars. I hate those damn quarter stars. I gave it 3. What say you? I gave it 3 as well. I loved it.
I feel like really any Ultimate X match with Chris Sabin in it.
Yeah, that was like his match.
I think he was in the first one, if I remember correctly. I think he's won. He at one point he had the record for most wins too. So.
He might still to this day, as far as we know. But yeah,
I say real quick how underrated that man is.
Hell yeah,
he's not getting enough credit, man.
Is he still wrestling in Ring of Honor?
You Sabin?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in Impact.
Oh, okay. For some reason,
I don't know where the hell Shelley is. But...
That's right. I don't know, man. He he popped up in NXT for like one night and then never. It was. Oh wait, no, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Him and Sabin both went to TNA for a minute. Wow. Yeah.
Then he just disappeared.
Going forever, bro. Anyway.
Wow.
Bloody Chris Sabin is celebrating on the stage. I missed what busted him open, but then Hulk Hogan comes out to hold Sabin's hand up. Hogan's hand is wrapped up after it got badly burned. I don't know. I'd seen that he like got into a bad accident, but I can't remember what the hell happened. Like it was all taped up, man. I think it was like a fireworks incident or something like that. But
he wasn't getting out of bed and hurt his knee, was he?
Good lord. But yeah, so Hogan has to mention slamming Andre the Giant. You know, good God. And then he says that Sabin will get a shot at the TNA World Title later in the summer at Destination X, which he wins. He wins it and then he loses it the next month, right?
He loses it in a couple of weeks. But I think in real time, he loses it in like a couple of hours.
Wow. Yeah. Good lord. Because for those that don't know, like, how TNA worked back then, they had something that was called, like, Option C or whatever.
I believe they still have it.
Okay. Well, it's like, if you're the X Division champion come Destination X, you can choose to surrender the X Division title and go for the world title at Destination X. So, and Austin Aries was the first one to do it.
Second one to do it, I think?
Yeah. So the first one was Austin Aries. Second one was, Chris Sabin. Aries was the one that knocked off Rude, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what
Probably
I thought.
One of the greatest moments in Impact history, in my opinion.
You and I both hit our roofs. But Hulk Hogan gets in the ring now when Mr. Anderson, Garrett Bischoff, and Wes Briscoe of the Aces and Eights interrupt him to insult him. That's a hell of a threesome right there. And Hogan says that in Boston, they're not afraid of ghosts, terrorists. I'm assuming he meant...
Why would you say that?
The ghost thing, I don't like. That was weird. The terrorist thing, I don't know the timeline. I forget, but I'm assuming he's referring to, you know, Boston Strong after the Boston Bomber thing.
That's a very. I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Like I said, I don't remember the timeline for it. And he said, and they're not afraid of three pussies wearing leather, and then he flips them off. Wow. So Hulk Hogan said that and flipped a bird on pay-per-view. Cool. But Hogan really goes off saying that Garrett...
Hey, Wes, you know, your dad was in the Silverdome when I slammed Andre. I just wanted you to know that. Anyways.
Yeah. Hey, if I haven't mentioned it time this hour, I said, that's like freaking, like Larry Zbyszko. Obviously, you know, Hogan's a much bigger star, which makes this even weirder that he constantly mentions that. But it's like Larry Zbyszko constantly having to mention, you know, I sold out Shea Stadium with Bruno. Like,
no, you didn't. Bruno sold it out with you.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, and then Hogan goes off on him, saying that Garrett is a bitch. And he says, quote, and your old man's a bitch.
Is that his godson?
I believe so. Good lord, man. Like, who told Hogan? It's like, man, just go out there and be blue. Like, what the hell? Hogan finally says that these three men are going to face Magnus, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. Gotta love this thrown together tag match on one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year. At least I think it was thrown together the way they did all this.
It was not really announced, but we knew it was coming. Remember how they would do that back when we used to watch it? Like, we knew what the match was going to be, but they didn't actually say it.
I somewhat remember. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, though. But it's Aces and Eights of Mr. Anderson, Garrett Bischoff, and Wes Briscoe taking on Magnus, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy in a 6-man tag match that went just over 8 minutes. In the end, things break down. Behind the referee's back, Wes Briscoe low blows Magnus and rolls him up, but Hardy hits a swanton on him and pins Briscoe for the win. It was actually kind of cool. Like, he's like in a schoolboy, but the way he's like laying down is it so Hardy can nail him with a swanton. I've never seen it done like that before. But Uncle Dave gave it 2.5 stars. I gave it 2. What say you?
I gave it 2. I didn't hate it.
It didn't suck, but it wasn't
I
great.
did find myself a little bit asking, like, at the end, like, it's still going.
Yeah, it's wasn't great. And you've got 4 stars in this match. Anderson, Magnus, Joe, and Hardy. But it's just, I don't know. Bischoff wasn't good. Briscoe wasn't good. It's really weird that, like, Wes Briscoe is one of them where it's like, so, talent skipped a generation, huh?
I think
To the
Wes
back.
Briscoe was like a new version of Eric Watts, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason he and Garrett got jobs is because of their last names. I mean, that's literally it.
I do give him credit, though, because he got the hell out of wrestling because he knew he sucked. I mean, they never actually said that's the reason, but come on.
Yeah, well, nobody wanted to hire him. WWE had fired him. TNA had fired him. Where the hell are you going to go? Ring of Honor sure as hell isn't going to hire you.
I don't know, they hired Cheeseburger.
Yeah. But anyway, to the back with Jeremy Borash. He tells us about what was going on in America 11 years ago when TNA started. Cool. Joseph Park then comes up doing his I'm a complete idiot routine until Devon and Nux run up and beat the hell out of him. They throw him all over the hallway and then walk off, leaving him bleeding and rubbing his own blood on the hall wall.
Gee, I wonder if that's going to lead somewhere.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I forgot about a lot of this stuff. I completely forgot about what happened whenever he bled.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in his match, but...
Unfortunately, yeah.
Up next is Jay Bradley versus Sam Shaw in the TNA Gut Check Final. This went about 5 minutes.
Sam Shaw, man.
Yeah, something tells me he needs to bleach his hair and grow a mustache.
Oh, dude, we're the only ones who like that crap, so no.
Wait, have people been complaining about him?
Yeah, no one likes him. Everyone thinks he sucks. I don't get it.
What?
Yeah.
His gimmick's awesome. Like, what the hell?
I'm just jealous he gets Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm jealous he got hugged by Poppy. Anyway. But nothing really to say about this one. Sam Shaw was doing like a surfer guy, like adrenaline junkie gimmick kind of thing. It was weird.
Complete 180. Like, if you think of what Dexter Lumis is right now, think the complete opposite and boom, there.
Yeah, right. But Jay Bradley wins this one with a running clothesline. He called the boomstick. I think his elbow pad actually said boomstick on it or something like that.
Do you know what that was? Was that like a play on something? Because I know there was like a game, something Fistful of Boomstick, or a movie. It was Fistful of Boomstick.
I'd never heard of that. No, I mean, it was just, he's talking like dynamite, but that's about it. I don't know. But Uncle Dave gave it a 1.25 stars. I gave it a 1.5 stars. Nothing to see here. What say you?
I gave it the whole 1.
Yeah, it's, not great. Whatever. 5 minutes. What do you...
I forget. Do you know, was this before or after Bradley was in WWE?
Oh, after, I want to say. I think. Could be wrong, but I think after. He might have popped up for he was only there for a minute?
Yeah. He was on ECW, actually. So he was never in WWE, technically. He was in ECW.
Oh, okay. Then this is after.
No, I mean, it wasn't WWE, but WWE's ECW.
Yeah, right. But Christy Henney interviews Jay Bradley, asking him how it feels to be the first one to qualify for the Bound for Glory series. That's what the winner of this match got. Bradley says that he's going to be the first one in, he's going to be the last one out, as he's going to win the TNA World's Heavyweight title. Sure.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You gotta have lofty goals, though, dude. I mean,
Yeah, right. What do you think of the Bound for Glory series, by the way?
I like the idea of it. I just think it went way too long, dude. We're talking June to October.
I know, yeah, that's the only bad thing. I felt like it like, if they would have made it like the G1, I thought it would have been great. Everybody loves the G1. Great matchups. Everybody faces each other. It feels important. But the thing is, like, yeah, and they don't, and that's basically what the Bound for Glory series was like a round robin point system kind of thing. But the thing was, like you said, it stretched from June to July, or I'm sorry, June to October, whereas, you know, the G1 is in like June or July, something like that, and then they win, and they don't stretch it out. It only goes like a month, and then they get their title shot in January. So it's not like they stretch it from the summer to January. But either way, now to the back again to Jeremy Borash. He hypes up the upcoming 4-team tag team match before interviewing Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. Do you remember?
Hell of a team.
Hell yeah. You remember shortly after this, they started calling themselves the Dirty Rotten Heels or something like that?
Was that these two?
Yeah. I thought it was funny. I was like, wow, you're just owning
And now Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are the Dirty Dogs. Is that a thing for Roode, by the way?
Good lord. Yeah, I guess. I don't get that name, by the way. Like, what? The Dirty Dogs?
Dude, it's spelled with an A and a W.
Oh, hell yeah, because Ziggler's a Browns fan.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yes, that's gotta be it. Now it's all making sense. Both these men talk about being world champions and in the past, and Roode tells James Storm that his new partner, Gunner, quote, is no Bobby Roode. Well, that's a statement.
Yeah, well, what are you saying there, dude?
Yeah, right. There are a lot of people that are no Bobby Roode, but, you know, whatever. Gunner, for anybody that doesn't know, is who you alluded to earlier. Was he Jackson Riker?
Yes, he now cut all his hair and is off, no beard, and he's going through PTSD from his time in the army, so, yeah.
Wow. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that was, like, his whole thing is he's like a former Marine, whatever, that's what they were going, like, that was his whole gimmick is Gunner. He was in the Marines. Like, okay, was he like a gunner? Doesn't make it. Who cares? His name is Gunner. In the play-up package for the next match, we're reminded that every time Joseph Park bleeds, he snaps and goes into abyss mode. I forgot about that, to be honest with you. But then again, I don't know how you felt about it. I hated Joseph Park. I thought it was so dumb.
I thought it was original.
Yeah, I was like, why are we getting this? Like, is he bored of being Abyss and tripping over his own dick and falling into his own flaming barbed wire table full of thumbtacks?
Holy crap.
Well, he does. He did every damn week.
If a guy's tripping over his own junk, okay, he's fine, trust me.
He was tucking it into his boots. That's why he wore the long leather pants. Anyway, Devon and Nux come to the ring for the next match. By the way, I forgot Aces and Eights had their own entrance in the back of the arena, but it totally makes sense now, and I love the idea looking back on it. I forgot about it. But when Joseph Park's theme hits, he does not come out. Devon takes his time to grab the mic and rip on Boston. He tells the referee to ring the bell and count out Joseph Park. By the way, too bad he didn't have Bully Ray out there with him when he was ripping on Boston, because maybe they would have picked out a woman in the front row who taught her daughter. Never mind. Heatwave 99, now in the archives. Go check it out.
Or don't. I don't blame you if you don't, but...
Hey, we made it entertaining, alright? And there's a very famous moment in there where Bubba Ray almost starts a riot. In Dayton. But Devon says that he's gonna go, first the referee does what Devon asks, and he counts him out. He declares Devon the winner. Devon is the television champ, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Which was the former Legends champ, which was the former... Wasn't there another title for it, too?
I'm forgetting the order, but at one point, I think it was the Legends title, then it was the Global title, and then it was the TV title. I know Eric Young, when Eric Young held it, he called it the Global Championship, and he would only defend it against non-Americans outside of the United States. Which, you know, is a hell of a hook to never defend the damn title ever.
So it was the Legends title, then it was the Global title, then it was the TV title. And I believe it came back as, here it is, as the Impact Grand title.
Oh, so they count that as part of his lineage?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah,
They had most defenses in GFW, by the way.
Go figure. Well,
then it was the King of the Mountain title. It was just its own title.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember that crap. Well, that was the one I remember when it became the TV title. Because I remember the Eric Young thing making it the global title. And then I remember when it went to AJ Styles, he dubbed it the TV title to dedicate it to Ric Flair, who I cannot for the life of me remember ever holding the TV title.
I'm sure he did at some point.
That was like an Arn Anderson thing. Just like, if Rick ever held the TV title, it was for like a heartbeat. So like, whatever. It was a weird dedication.
Mid-Atlantic TV title twice. So Ric Flair has held that title.
Alright, well, there you go. But still, like, he acts like, well, Ric Flair is clearly known for being the TV champ. Sure.
That's all he ever really did in wrestling when you think about it.
Yeah, right. Again, that's more synonymous with Arn Anderson. Like, that would have made more sense if he's like, in dedication to your best friend, Arn Anderson, I'm gonna, whatever. Either way, going back to this, Devon says that he's gonna go back to the clubhouse, drink some beers, and play with some strippers. Don't know,
I'm pretty sure his sons are in the building, too, so.
And, his wife was probably watching this, so. But just then, Abyss comes out and takes out both Devon and Nux before the bell rings.
Hold on, I'm sorry, hold on. The other match was official, too. I never got to give my rating for it,
Was it, though?
It kind of was. I heard a bell.
Yeah. I didn't count it, even though Wikipedia does.
Yeah, I didn't count it.
I'd not count it,
yeah.
By the way, this was
during... I give it 1 star, by the way. Just,
Yeah, yeah. If we're giving stars, I'm going to give it a dud. But, yeah, this was during the time, by the way, where they changed Abyss's theme. This was like his 3rd theme, because he had that. Yeah, well, there's the original theme that he had. Then they changed it to like that remix where they mixed it with American Made Hulk Hogan's theme.
Yeah, right.
Back when he was wearing Hogan's Hall of Fame ring and dressing in red and yellow, because, that totally fits Abyss. And then they changed it to this, which was, it's a ripoff of, I
think Sound of Music, or Sound of something music. It's from Shinedown. I just forget the name of it.
Shinedown.
Something Madness. Was it Sound of Madness?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because I was listening to it when I watched it back. I'm like, it sounds familiar. And then it just hit me. Oh yeah, it's Shinedown. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it was that, Sound of Madness, but they added like a bell tolling at the beginning. So like, what the frick? I don't get it.
Wasn't one of Eric Bischoff's biggest complaints about Abyss is just a rip off of The Undertaker? And then they add a freaking bell, which sounds like a gong, not the way they toll it.
Yeah. I don't get that one, by the way. Like, I would have said Kane. I always said he was like a cross between Kane and Mankind. I never once thought Undertaker. Like, I don't know. Whatever. He wore a mask. How is that not Kane? But anyway, this match is Devon with Nux defending his TV title against Abyss. It went just shy of 5 minutes. Abyss knocks Nux off the apron in the end, and he wins with a choke slam followed by a black hole slam. Uncle Dave gave it a dud. I gave it 1 star. What say you?
I gave it 1. Nux was out there. I'm like, where's Kelly? That's all I want to see. But
Good lord. This was more of like a segment rather than a damn match.
A segment to get the title onto Abyss. I like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because Abyss has to be the TV champ. He's been through some weird evolutions, by the way. I will admit, I kind of liked when he came back in the all white. It looked like he just escaped.
I love that. I thought that was some of the best stuff they did with him, actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't Stevie Richards his doctor or something like that?
Yeah, Dr. Stevie. Now paging Dr. Stevie. And Daphne was his nurse.
Yeah, I mean, it all just worked. I mean, it was
my nurse.
It was stupid as hell, but it all worked.
Yeah, I liked it. That and his original look, like the all black when he was with James Mitchell, were my 2 favorite Abyss things. When he started wearing the flannel, that's another thing. I was like, really? You got the mask, you got the flannel, and you do hardcore stuff. Who does that remind you of?
Joseph Park.
Yeah. But Dixie Carter comes to the ring next to announce the next inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame.
The hallowed halls of the TNA Hall of Fame.
Right, which is like one of the funniest statements I've ever made on this podcast. Before she makes the announcement, she calls everyone that's on the roster onto the stage. She announces that the inductee is Kurt Angle, who seems very happy. He comes to the ring to hug Dixie before they play a hype video for Kurt's career, making him cry. He's up there with Ric Flair with, he'll cry at the drop of a damn hat. Kurt thanks God, his wife, his new wife, not Karen, his kids, the Carter family, and Jeff Jarrett, which, okay. Thanks, Jeff, for taking my old wife so I could get this newer model.
At the end of the day, everybody won, so.
Yeah, right. And Kurt, by the way, clearly has a type. Swarthy-skinned, dark-haired women. So, whatever. Good for him.
Pittsburgh thing.
Right. It's a me thing, too, but whatever. Well, and dude, this is the best and only Hall of Fame that man's ever getting into. He better cherish this moment. When they actually have the ceremony, because they actually have the induction ceremony at Bound for Glory, and they're going to give him a watch, and, it's going to be one of those Mickey Mouse watches from out in the park.
Oh, I thought a Cracker Jack box one, but whatever.
I still find it funny, Bruce Pritchard telling the story about how she was, like, Dixie Carter was, like, eBay shopping for a used Rolex for this. And he was like,
because she didn't have enough money, right?
Yeah. He's like, why don't we just buy a new Rolex? And he had to, like, fight with her about this. He's like, just get him a damn Rolex. Like, quit, like, you don't have to thrift shop and, like, buy somebody's used stuff. Oh, man. That's LOL TNA if I've ever heard it. But alright, man. This next one is Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez defending the TNA Tag Team titles against Bad Influence, which is Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, versus...
It's the Bad Influence of Christopher Daniels and Kazarian.
Oh, well, excuse the F out of me. They're taking on the team.
Glad I can inform you here.
They're taking on Austin Aries and Bobby Roode, and James Storm and Gunner. One went just shy of 17 minutes. Bad Influence gets eliminated first via disqualification when Daniels hits Chavo with a tag title right in front of the ref like a complete idiot. I'm like, cool? Like, what the hell? But Chavo and Hernandez are next out when Aries rolls up Chavo for a pin. Finally, Storm hits the last call on Aries. Gunner locks him in the gun rack, which is just a torture rack, and Aries submits. Uncle Dave gave this 3 1/4 stars. I gave it an even 3 stars. I kind of like this one. What say you?
I gave it 2. I got a little bored at it, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a tad.
Yeah, I like these teams. Like basically everybody in this match I like for the most part. Not all blow me away, but I feel like, not that Jackson Riker's done really anything worth note in WWE yet. Anything memorable anyway. But I feel like he did some good stuff.
Dude, PTSD, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah, right. But I feel like he did some good stuff as Gunner. Like, especially here with James Storm. I felt they were a pretty good team. They just worked. But then again, James Storm kind of worked with anybody they threw him in a team with. But in the back, Jeremy Borash is standing by with Brooke Hogan. I forgot that she was, like, in charge of the knockouts, by the way.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Brooke puts over the upcoming last knockout standing match. Taryn Terrell was hired as a referee, but kept getting involved in matches, so Brooke hired her as a wrestler. JB then... go for it.
Do you remember they did this a couple of years prior with that guy Shane Sewell?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a referee, but he kept overstepping his bounds.
Yeah. And then
I don't know why it was so stupid it made me laugh, because he looked like, do you remember like his rage? It looked like really nervous rage, like, oh my god, I'm getting nervous, like I gotta hit something.
Right. Must punch something. Well, didn't they do the same thing with Tracy Brooks or something similar to it?
Maybe. I don't remember that.
I remember she was a ref for a while and wore like the skimpiest ref outfit.
I remember that.
Terrell.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, Rich. And I think they did a similar thing with Brooke Tessmacher. So, I don't know. They kept doing this crap in TNA. It's like, dude,
Actually, now that I think about it, I mean, you could put Garrett Bischoff in this.
No, that wasn't Garrett Bischoff. That was Jackson James.
But
yeah,
whatever.
It's a completely different person, dude. Like, gosh, how can you confuse those two guys?
I don't know. One's devastatingly handsome, and the other one's ugly as hell. I don't know.
One is like a Greek god, and the other one is just like, like really good looking. Do you ever think there's more to life than just being really, 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 really good looking?
That's something Kelso would have said on the 7 show.
I got a Zoolander quote in this week, so there you go. All right, anyway. Borash then asks Brooke about Bully Ray, saying that he still loves her, and Brooke has nothing to say. She walks away. Oh, good lord. This was weird.
Do you remember when they did the whole thing? Because you just brought up Brooke Tessma. Or do you remember that they did the whole thing where Bully was like, said Brooke was with him and all that, and they turned out to be Brooke Tessma? Mm-hmm. Do you remember,
Yep.
and I'm not trying to Barry Horowitz myself here, but do you remember I called that? Like, I'll bet you it's Brooke, I think they just missed Tessmacher, but they didn't call her Brooke yet.
Yeah.
But do you remember, I was like, I'll bet you it's the other Brooke. And then it turned out to be, I was not happy that I was right about that because it was so stupid.
And she joined Ace as an 8, so I remember
you
that.
get something right, you want to call it. Oh, I called that. I was like, I was not happy that was that obvious.
Yeah, right. Well, and then you and I were like, and then in real life, I think he dated one of the Brooks for real at one point, I believe. And now he's like either about to be or is marrying Velvet Sky. And you and I were both like, is he like handsome in a way that nobody can see? Like, what? Or is he tucking it in his sock or something? Like, what the hell is going on here?
He's got a wonderful personality.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was nice to us at WrestleCon. Remember, he was waiting for the elevator. He got on the one we didn't get on. We got on the other one with Colt Cabana and Hornswoggle and the Macho Man impersonator. We didn't get on that one. This is a real story, folks. I am not making any of this up.
People are thinking you're BSing them here. This is real. Oh my gosh.
We picked the right elevator on that one. Colt Cabana and Hornswoggle.
I know what you're always say about this stuff, but honestly, I kept like having to tell myself, it's like, because I was like right next to Hornswoggle, and I kept trying to tell myself, it's like, don't look down, don't like be creepy and like keep looking over like down at him, like, it's like, just don't stare. And it wasn't because he's, short. It was because I'm like, dude, he's on TV, I've never been this close to him. But
I was like that with Colt only because I'm like, good lord, he's freaking tall.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't there's not many people I look up to, and he was one of them. Like, oh my god, he is deceptively tall.
Yeah, I don't know how tall Colt Cabana actually is. He's 6'1", so he's only about an inch taller than you.
He can't be 6'1". There's no way. No way.
I don't know. That's what it says. And the internet doesn't lie, Greg. So.
Well, you're right. Okay.
Anyway, the next match is we're in the home stretch, people. The next match is Gail Kim taking on Taryn Terrell. It's a last knockout standing match. The referee is ODB, who by the way runs like a food truck now.
Bam.
Yeah, it's Bam. Well, yeah, because Colt Cabana does boom. She does bam. So.
Yeah, I heard a horrible story about I guess that food truck got burned down or something. She's got a new one now, but
really? Oh, damn.
Yeah, she had a GoFundMe and they got it back up, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Either way, this one went about just shy of 9.5 minutes. These two women have a hell of a match and actually beat the crap out of each other.
I'm gonna say this right now. This is one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah, these last 3 matches were really good. That one especially. Finally, Taryn wins with a running ace crusher off the ramp, leading to Gail Kim being unable to beat the 10 count. Uncle Dave Meltzer called this the best match of the night, along with the match coming up next. He gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it an even 3. What say you?
Because of who was in it, and because of what I expected, because of what it turned out to be, I had to give it 4. Because it
4 stars, bro.
Surpassed what I thought it was going. I mean, not when I watched it back. I remember when I watched it and it actually happened.
Yeah.
Like, good lord, this is actually hella good.
Yeah,
and
I
this
know.
is before the women's revolution, so women's matches were very few and far between good.
Yeah, TNA actually had and I'm not saying the whole time, but I feel like they were legitimately pushing women's matches and women's stars for a while before WWE ever did. Like, I mean, they had Mickie James and Tara. Like, I think
Gail
they main
Kim.
evented. Yeah. But then, weren't they the first women, Tara and James? I think they were the first women to main event an Impact or something like that.
Yeah, it was in the cage.
Yeah.
And that match was awesome.
Yeah. So they took time and they actually pushed the women, not just as T&A, so.
I mean, not to take away from it, but they didn't have many good women either. But to their points, they were trying with what they had.
Right, yeah.
So it's not like they were putting on like amazing matches, but they tried. Now, you can't turn on like a show today without seeing like a really good women's match though. Now it's got to the point where there's a battle. I'm like, man, what's going on? But,
I know. Well, Taryn Terrell was like shockingly good too. Like, I didn't expect anything out of her. Because WWE never put her in the ring. She was Tiffany, and she was like the GM of ECW. And then she was
literally just a supermodel they hired.
She was a Playboy model, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Playboy. Hire her, boss.
Probably did. And then she was married to Drew McIntyre, and then there was some domestic violence on her side, and she got fired.
That's a new one. He didn't do anything at all.
Right.
The dude got beat up because he didn't want to hit a woman.
But this next match was Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles. It went 15 minutes, 45 seconds. The build-up package...
How the hell could you have a bad match with these two?
Exactly. I don't think they were physically capable of that. The build-up package explains what's been going on with AJ Styles, but doesn't tell us why the hell these two were fighting.
I don't even remember off the top of my head why they were.
No, they don't explain it. Because, it's been 8 years, and I don't effing remember. And they don't tell you. It's like, well, if you weren't watching TV, sucks to be you. Okay. But, AJ's coming out to his Evil Ways song at this time. This was...
I think that was why, because everybody thought he had joined Aces and Eights. Kurt Angle was one of them. He thought he joined them. And then, without saying yes or no, because AJ wasn't speaking. So that's what it was.
Yeah. And he was wearing a leather jacket at the time, wearing all black. I actually have a Jax figure of him.
Stupid soccer mom haircut's not there yet, but it's growing.
No, he's got but he's got the emo Justin Bieber hair at this time. But in the end, these two go through a bunch of transitions until Angle jackknife covers AJ for the pinfall win. Uncle Dave and I both gave it 4 stars. What say you?
Solid 4.
I didn't think it was quite 5-star worthy. I've seen better from the two, but it was damn good.
I liked the last match was my favorite probably of the night. This was probably the best match of the night though.
Oh yeah, this was fantastic. I loved it. Love these guys. Like you said, how can you have a bad match out of these two? Especially in 2013. So there you go. But alright, man. Before we get into the main event, we need to take our next break. When we come back, we're going to get into the pre-match and the main event itself right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Fubo TV offers you live sports and TV without the overpriced cable. Fubo TV offers 100 channels, live and on demand, plus over 130 streaming in 4K, and a cloud DVR is included. The Fubo TV app is available on all smart devices, so you can watch what you want when you want. There are no hidden fees and you can cancel anytime. Cut the cord and sign up for your free trial at Fubo.tv today. Fubo TV is a sponsor of the Main Event Marks and Unhinged Sports Network. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
Alright, we're back. Backstage.
Yeah, we're back.
Bully Ray keeps putting over how his upcoming match with Sting is no holds barred, and how he won't go after Sting's eyes or throat like Sting said that he would do to Bully. Bully said that he's just going to hit the pile driver on Sting and cripple him.
See, I had forgotten all about that until I watched this back. I'm like, oh my god, that's right. They try to build that up. And I remember, I think it was a shot at WWE because they said no more pile drivers.
Oh, I don't remember that part of it, but I didn't really think anything of it. But yet, if you remember, because Eric Young was doing it there for a while too, and they made it like, oh my gosh, it's devastating, the pile driver. Which I have no gripe with because, back in the old days, the pile driver was considered like, oh my gosh, you hit that, you could cripple a man. And I mean, it's legit. If you hit it wrong, you legitimately can put somebody in the hospital. So, you know, cool for them. But anyway, getting to this match, the main event man is Bully Ray defending the TNA World's Heavyweight title against Sting in a no-holds-barred last chance match, which means that if Sting loses, he can never challenge for the TNA title ever again. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that one pays off for him.
I think they'll stick to it. That's just me. But...
Oh, well, yeah. Because it's just like Cody will never, ever wrestle for the AEW World title. Ever. You know that, right?
I do. But I got a feeling at some point they're going to be like, well, like Prince said, when as long as Jericho was champion. I'm calling that now.
No, never, Greg. It's never going to happen because, it's wrestling and they got to tell us the truth. It's real. Gosh, how dare you question them?
I don't know. I'm stupid.
Wow. But this one went for just shy of 14 and a half minutes. I will admit, I didn't hate this run of Bully Ray, and I loved Aces and Eights, so I'm not going to hate on this one here.
I love the Aces and Eights, too.
Yeah. Sting jumpstarts this one, wasting no time on beating up Bully Ray.
Nice word use.
Partway into this match, when Sting and Bully are fighting on the ramp, Brooke Hogan comes out randomly to look shocked, and Sting sends her to the back. Not to spoil the end of the match here, but when I saw that, I couldn't remember how this one ended, and I was like, oh, she probably comes out and sides with Bully, right? Or, help. Nope, this was it. What the hell happened? Yeah. She just comes out and looks worried, and Sting's like, hey, it's okay, go to the back. Like, what the hell am I watching? But Bully Ray manages to finally...
I thought she was going to, try to Miss Elizabeth him and spray him in the face or something.
Oh, yeah. But Bully Ray manages to finally hit the pile driver, but it does not put Sting away. After putting Sting through a table, because, he's Bully Ray, but he's still got to go through, put somebody through a damn table, Bully pulls the ring mat back to reveal the wooden planks, which I feel like TNA did this 5,000 times.
Yeah, but then Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano would do it too, so everybody got in on it at some point.
That one, it's like, I didn't care about that one because I was like, when have they ever done that before? So I was like, okay, but I feel like TNA did this at least twice a year.
They wanted to let everyone know that the ring had wood underneath it, or the mat.
Yeah. Well, Bully Ray was about to give Sting wood, man.
Good lord.
All right. Sting misses a stinger splash. Bully hits a pile driver on the wood for another near fall. So after he just built up the pile driver, he buried it. Sting now dropped Bully with a scorpion death drop on the wood, and then Aces and Eights hits the ring. Wouldn't you know?
Shocker.
I know. But they all get beat up by Sting because they're all ballless. Devon throws Bully a ball-peen hammer, but Sting catches it, hits Bully, and then Devon pulls Earl Hebner out of the ring so he can't make the count. Finally, Mr. Anderson runs out and hands Bully another hammer. Sting dives off the top rope, and Bully smashes him in the head with it on the way down, which in real life would have probably killed him. But then he finally pins him for the 3. I said this was WCW in 2000 level BS, but I don't know. Uncle Dave gave it 3 stars. I gave it 2.5 because of all that bull crap. What say you?
I gave it 3. I was really into it. But yeah, the end kind of took me out of it.
And really, nobody was there to back up Sting.
That was my first, that was one of my only notes. I'm like, here we go again. Just like the old school NWO, they're all out there and nobody from the back's coming to help them. And yet, supposedly everybody hates the Aces and Eights.
I know.
And everybody respects Sting. And you guys can't come out and help him?
Yeah. They've been running roughshod on everybody. Attacking them, costing them matches and titles, hitting them with weapons, blah, blah, blah. And this? Sting, you got it. Well, what the hell? I always hated that crap. No matter what company does it, it never makes sense. It always sucks. But anyway, after the match, Aces and Eights celebrate over Sting's lifeless body as the show goes off the air. Man. So that was that. I guess we'll take our final break. When we come back, final ratings and what's coming up next week on the podcast. We'll be back after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event_Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event_Marks and at Main Event Collector. Fanatics offers the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and gear from all the leagues, teams, and players that you love, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, NCAA, NASCAR, soccer, and golf. They even offer esports gear for the gamers among us. You can shop by brand, sport, team, or player. And if you sign up for Fan Cash, you get exclusive weekly deals. So head on over to Fanatics.com today. Fanatics is a sponsor of the Main Event Marks and Unhinged Sports Network. Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, final segment. Final ratings here. IMDb gave this 6.6 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 7.33 out of 10. I gave it 7.9 out of 10 for like a C. What say you?
I gave it a C+. It was okay.
The last three matches were fine. I mean, all in all, I don't think there was a horrible match on this card. I mean, okay.
Well, the Abyss match.
Yeah, Devon and Abyss.
Excuse me, the Abyss matches.
Yeah, and I guess the gut check final wasn't horrible. It was just like, why is this on pay-per-view, you know?
Considering they built it up on Impact, yes.
Right, yeah. 5 minutes. Go out there and show me what you got, kids. Like, what? That kind of blew. But all in all, I don't know. I didn't hate it. That's that. Slammiversary 2013, man. But, alright, next week, we're officially into July. And I am legitimately...
Get me a hot dog and pop some fireworks.
Hell yeah. July is going to be a fun month. I'm legitimately excited about all the shows. Yeah, I'm excited about all the shows we're covering this month. Because we're doing something a little different for our bonus show this month that I'll get into. Which, by the way, I hope you all enjoyed. Oh, man. I hope you all enjoyed what we did this past Friday with Great American Bash 2000. Happy birthday, America. Here's this. You know. The Rockets' red glare, Sting burning in air. Ugh, man. But alright. Next week, we're opening July with one of the biggest wrestling pay-per-views of all time, and I'm being completely serious about it. It's a funny 25-year anniversary. We're covering WCW's Bash at the Beach 1996. I am super stoked about that one.
This match changes, like, the world, or this event, I should say.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see kind of, you know, the evolution of, like, here's what WCW was. We're trying to shed that, and we're getting into what WCW would become, and, you know, it's kind of like... Considering
on, not to spoil anything, but considering on this match, they have a freaking match with something on a pole. I think it's a roll of quarters or something.
Yeah.
And then...
It's a sock full of silver dollars.
Yeah, and then get this at the end of the show. Clearly, they were just, like, getting all the crap out of the closet and throwing it out, so...
Yeah, it was a sock full of silver dollars, and the two men in the match were Earthquake and Big Boss Man. So, yeah. The Dungeon of Doom...
Take my effing money.
Hell yeah. Well, the Dungeon of Doom is still a thing on this show, by the way.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, Nash did that interview one time where he said there were times in WWE when they were struggling to keep up because the Dungeon of Doom was on fire, and they were kicking everyone's ass in the ratings.
He laughs, but they were trading victories on Monday nights, so...
I don't think anyone had to do with the Dungeon of Doom, though.
Well, no, not one person was like, oh crap, I wonder who their new member is this week. But anyway, that's July 7th, so look out for that one. It's a humongous pay-per-view.
Put a PSA in there. We're not joking, by the way. We're going to be doing nothing but good shows in July.
Yeah, right.
You know, people are probably used to a couple of crap shows.
Yeah, this is a rare, really good month. But to the actual bonus show here, Greg and I talked about it. We're not going to do this every single month because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But at least every other month I'm going to try to do something like this. Or we're going to try to do something like this, rather. We're going to do a timepiece and see how it goes. Instead of just doing...
As per requested, by the way.
Yes, we got a request for this. This one, because some months we are going to review a show like, we do usually, but those are going to be like special shows. That's like, oh yeah, such and such happened this month, and we talk about that. But for July, we're going to do our first timepiece. It's going to be Diesel's 1995 run in the WWF. That you can thank Greg for, because he really wanted to do that one.
I have a reasoning for it, though, because we crap on 95 here a lot, and deservedly so. But right. I don't think he was that bad of a champion. I think he gets way too much crap for it.
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into it, into 95, and the abysmal failure in every way, shape, and form that that year could be. It doesn't mean like
both companies, mind you.
Oh yeah, I mean WCW started heating up. I feel like towards the end, because you and I talked about that. It's like by Bash the Beach still sucked. So what was it? Fall Brawl. By Fall Brawl, they actually started coming out with some decent shows. And
it's not a coincidence, by the way, that Fall Brawl is the first pay-per-view after the launch of Nitro. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, and it kind of sucks that Vader left right then. I mean, not by
still
choice,
on the promotional pieces for some in some markets too. It's funny, so.
Right. Fall Brawl 95 now in the archives, by the way. But yeah, so Diesel's run in 1995. We're gonna have fun with that one. I already got all my notes compiled. Greg and I have both went back. I, in retrospect, experienced 1995. Greg experienced it live, so sucks to be him.
Twice.
Yeah.
Mostly for the last show. So.
And we're not going to cover every single thing he did, beat by beat, but we're going to hit the high points, the important stuff. We're going to kind of set up, because 1995 was the first time they had a show, like a pay-per-view almost every single month, because that's when they added In Your House. So it's an historic year for multiple reasons we'll talk about. And Diesel, specifically, what he was doing and all of that, and everything around him, and just, we're going to kind of break it down and talk about why it sucked. Why the whole thing sucked.
And probably why Diesel gets a bad rap, too.
Oh, yeah, right. And we'll talk about that in the second to last week of July for our bonus show. But that's July, man. Looking forward to it. I had fun today talking about TNA. Thanks for joining me today, Greg.
Yeah, of course. I love talking about TNA all the time.
Yeah, well, and TNA, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
All right. And we'll see you all next week when we go to the beach for Bash at the Beach 1996.